Are you overwhelmed by clutter, both physical and mental? Always busy, yet unfulfilled? Maybe the missing piece isn't more time, gadgets, or social media hustle, it's alignment. In this video, we explore Things That Matter by Joshua Becker. Through 10 transformative lessons, you'll learn how to embrace simplicity, reclaim space, and live with intention. Because in the end, it's not about having more, it's about making room for what truly matters. Lesson 1. Simplify to amplify purpose. Becker begins his message with a radical notion. Simplicity isn't subtraction, it's multiplication. When you clear the excess in your life, you amplify space, physical, emotional, and spiritual, for what truly matters. He illustrates how a cluttered home often mirrors a cluttered mind, distracting us from joy, relationships, and purpose. The lesson is simple. Start small, declutter one shelf, one drawer, one schedule at a time. As you remove non-essential things, items, obligations, digital noise, you begin to see your values more clearly. Becker encourages reflective questions. What am I keeping out of guilt, habit, or fear? What could I let go of to be more present? This intentional simplicity frees up time, energy, and attention for relationships, creativity, and meaningful work. By simplifying, you're not losing. You're gaining clarity, focus, and inner peace. Lesson 2. Choose what you spend your life on. Time is our most precious currency, and Becker insists on valuing it wisely. He encourages us to spend life on what matters, not on reactive tasks or societal pressure. That means auditing your calendar regularly. Are you saying yes to obligations that don't align with your purpose or values? It's okay to say no to things that dilute your life. This lesson invites you to ask, do my daily habits reflect what truly matters to me? Becker urges setting weekly intentions or themes aligned with your values like family, creativity, health, spirituality, and using them as filters. When decisions about how to spend time are aligned with intentional values, life becomes more meaningful and less overwhelming. It's not about squeezing more in, it's about freeing what matters to make room for what endures. Lesson 3. Own less, live more. Material possessions shouldn't own us. Becker challenges the culture of acquisition by urging us to question ownership. Do our belongings add value, or do they rent out our time through upkeep, storage, and dusting? To truly live freely, we must own less. He shares how downsizing possessions creates tangible benefits: less cleaning, simpler routines, and fewer distractions. But the emotional benefit is greater. Ownership can bring attachment, guilt, and obligations. By releasing excess, you liberate yourself to invest in experiences, relationships, and personal growth. This isn't minimalism for minimalism's sake, it's living with intention. As Becker says, every extra item carries a mental tax. The fewer things you own, the more responsive and flexible your life becomes. With less to maintain, worry about, or manage, you can live more fully and generously. Lesson 4. Intentionality over busyness. In an always-on world, busyness is a badge of honor, but it often signals emptiness, not purpose. Becker urges us to replace busy with intentional. This requires deliberation, stopping to ask what truly deserves our attention rather than reacting to urgency. He recommends creating margin in your schedule, a buffer between obligations that allows for spontaneity, creativity, rest, or help. When you're not driven purely by external demands, you create space for intentional action. Becker cautions against the busy trap. It often disguises distraction and prevents deeper connection. If your life is full of motion but empty of meaning, busyness is your enemy. Intentionality means choosing rhythm, rest, and reflection, structuring time so that it aligns with your core values. Life isn't about doing everything, it's about doing what matters with presence and purpose. Lesson 5. Invest in people over things. Becker reminds us, relationships matter more than possessions. When we get wrapped up in consumerism, we often neglect people, but connection, love, and community are the true sources of fulfillment. He encourages us to evaluate where we invest our emotional energy. Is it in maintaining appearances or nurturing relationships? Deep, intentional time with loved ones, conversation, listening, shared meals, builds emotional wealth no thing can replace. Becker suggests practical changes: putting phones away during meals, carving unhurried weekend walks with friends, and asking meaningful questions instead of default small talk. This lesson invites you to trade transactions for connection. Relationships don't need more stuff. They need more presence. Prioritize presence over presence. Invest your best energy in people, because in the end, the value of life isn't measured in things, but in hearts touched and memories created. Lesson 6. Anchor your life around values, not trends. Culture tempts us with new trends: fashions, technology, lifestyle upgrades, but values give life direction. Becker argues that trends are fleeting, but values endure. When your decisions are aligned with consistent values, not reactive impulses, you live with integrity. Define your non-negotiables: honesty, generosity, creativity, growth, service, whatever speaks to your deeper calling. Use these values as touchstones when opportunity or temptation knocks. Before buying something, taking on a role, or saying yes, ask, is this consistent with my values? This practice ensures you don't drift with the currents of cultural expectations. Instead, you chart your course. Values anchor your life and reduce regret. They help you stand firm when trends fade and distractions fade. Living by values isn't rigid, it's liberating. It gives coherence to your story and clarity to your choices. Lesson 7. Let go to grow. Growth often requires letting go of routines, environments, limiting beliefs, and outdated identities. Becker views simplicity as both subtraction and expansion. When clutter is removed, the soul space increases. He tells stories of people who stepped out of conventional paths, a career pivot, a minimalist shift, downsizing a home, and discovered unexpected freedom. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about making space for growth. Whether it's freeing yourself from debt, clutter, toxic relationships, or self-critical thoughts, release is necessary. Becker encourages asking, what am I willing to release today so I can grow tomorrow? Growth may feel uncomfortable, but it's fueled by intentional release. Releasing what binds you allows you to expand into creativity, service, peace, and purpose. And when your life space reflects what matters, growth becomes inevitable. Lesson 8. Leave room for grace. In our achievements-focused culture, failure and rest are often stigmatized. Becker pushes back, emphasizing grace, the freedom to fail, rest, and pause without shame. Grace toward yourself and others creates a culture of compassion and stillness. He invites us to reject perfectionism and rigid schedules that suffocate humanity. When you simplify your calendar and expectations, you make room for grace-filled living. Power naps, kindness to mistakes, gentle rhythms. Graced living fosters creativity, growth, and longevity. Becker also encourages respect for seasons of life, knowing when to plant, when to tend, and when to rest. Allow for pauses without guilt. Grace-filled life doesn't diminish ambition, it tempers it with peace and sustaining care. And ultimately, finding peace in the pursuit of what matters becomes possible. Lesson 9. Influence through simplicity. Simplicity inspires others. Becker argues that when you live simply and intentionally, you spark curiosity in others. Your life becomes a signal. There is a different way to live. Rather than preaching or convincing, leading by example becomes the most powerful influence. When people see you living generously, peacefully, and purposefully with less, they begin rethinking their priorities. You don't need to argue. The simplicity of your life speaks. This is gentle leadership, showing that less stuff and more intention leads to better connection, purpose, and calm. Your simplicity can shift dinners, conversations, or lifestyles in your community. Influence isn't about being loud or persuasive. It's about living quietly powerful, so that others catch the vision by watching. Lesson 10. Flourish in the things that truly matter. Finally, Becker reminds us, life isn't about doing more. It's about flourishing in what we already hold dear. When you simplify, align time, own less, build community, and anchor in values, you begin to live richly in meaningful places. Flourishing is not perfection. It's depth. Depth in relationships, clarity in calling, peace in pace, joy in presence. As your life space reflects your values, you find harmony between inner calm and outward engagement. Flourishing isn't a destination but a daily rhythm, responding to life from grounded purpose rather than frantic motion. It's the quiet confidence of someone rooted in what matters. And when things that truly matter flourish in your life, you live fully, not frantically. You serve better, love deeper, and show up with presence. In a world chasing more, here's the invitation to choose enough, and then flourish. If these lessons from things that matter stood out to you, pause, breathe, decide. Today, what will you remove to create space for what endures? If this spoke to you, watch my other videos, because living with intention begins with knowing what matters most. Until next time, simplify, prioritize, and let your life be a quiet revolution toward what matters. So that was today's book summary. If you liked it, leave a comment and thank you for listening till the end.